My name's Clare Rae. I'm an artist who works with photography primarily and sometimes video. These two works here were produced during my honours year here at RMIT. During that time in my life, I was in my early 20s and having a real kind of feminist awakening at university, as many women do. And so I was really conscious of photographing myself in a way that proposed a kind of activation of the body, and also obviously a resistance to that passivity that I was seeing. I was trying to express, I guess, an experience of femininity that is quite precarious and is often uncomfortable or can be quite a kind of disjointed experience.
I'm Byrne. I'm a visual artist. I studied at RMIT a long time ago now. I graduated in 1987, which was actually the centenary of RMIT. The course I did at RMIT was a fine art degree, but majoring in ceramics. And so I spent most of my time down in the ceramics studios in the basement of Building 1. This work in the show is called Silent Testimony PTSD. I'm interested in the soldiers who come back who have PTSD, who have suffered horrific injuries, and so that's what this series of works was about.
My name's Juan Ford. I'm a visual artist from Melbourne. I studied here at RMIT University, all the way from undergrad through to a research master's. To be honest, when I was painting this, a lot of it is about, it's an allegory or a metaphor for fighting with the medium, with paint itself. The raging battle that goes on in the studio between myself and the medium. In this room in particular, you see the excellence of the curation here with the collection here. We have a broad theme of landscape and figuration that are happening together, and you see this expressed in several of the works around here. Polyseni Papapetru's two figures in a landscape here that are disguised. I mean, she's tackling notions of male identity, but this is ambiguous enough to be read in several ways.
I've been researching Jill Orr for a number of years, and I wrote a bit about her in my master's thesis, mainly because of the way that she engages photography within her performance practice, which I find really fascinating. The idea of Jill kind of, really harnessing photography in a way to create an object that speaks to her performance but is also something else. Rather than just being documentation per se, is really fascinating. It's
been really interesting to see other ceramics in the show as well, particularly the work by Juz Kitson and by Arzian. Juz's work, her early work, just really resonated with me because it's very small in scale, beautiful porcelain work, but everything that her work now is, you can see in that work.
Michael Cook, and here we have solitary figures in a landscape. Again, here it's a bit different. The focus is on aspects of Aboriginality and belonging.
Kavita is an artist who I've been aware of for some time, and she's produced a very considered body of work that really talks about the problematic nature of representing women's bodies, and she again uses her own body in her work, but her work really is driven by, I think, the history of performance art in terms of endurance practice, repeating these tasks over and over again, really testing the body and its limits. But also she's talking very much about her cultural history.
Studying here at RMIT certainly influenced the way I think about art. From undergrad, we were exposed to many of Australia's, or at least Melbourne's, best practitioners on a constant basis. And they taught us how to think about art, how to think like artists, how to be like artists, how to, be critical of your own work and move forward and problem solve. There's a reason that artworks from Melbourne have taken shape in the way that they have, that the culture has evolved as it has, and it's really critical for art students to become part of that and understand where people were coming from, who influenced who and why.
And as an educator and teacher, being able to bring my students here to see a significant collection like this is incredible, because they really are getting a kind of snapshot of Australian art history between specific time periods. And having collections on show like this is so important, because works need to be seen. This work needs to be seen.
It's great that RMIT has collected all these works. They're really important artists, and a lot of these works are important early works and showing a certain point in their career. And I guess for me, I'm just rapt to have my work as an alumni from RMIT. I'm really rapt to have my work in this exhibition and in the RMIT collection.